Welcome back for episode 4, covering how to do your colliders. A point that I realized after making the last one is I should cover LODs, notably why I don't use them. Nebulous is very low intensity on your graphics driver. Unless, so typically with your models, as long as you're not upwards of about 10 to 20k tries per hull, you don't need to care about lots. Turrets are more like 1 to 2k, uh, and missiles and craft more like 500. But again, don't really need to optimize the logs. You can do it, but they'll break a lot in Unity. And there are simpler ways to ensure everything renders properly. So instead, I don't use LODs and just use a base model, since that saves me a lot of effort. Uh, if you really want to do LODs, you can use Decimate as a really easy way to create LODs and set them up. Tartiflet's shipmaking guide, of course, which I will make sure to link under this video, has a full guide on how to do uh, LOD structuring, but again, not going to cover it here because I don't use it. What I am going to cover is colliders. So the first thing we want to do is make sure all our main parts are in one collection. This is all our default visible mesh parts. I'm then going to make a second collection called colliders. We're going to paste a copy of our whole mesh into. It needs to be a copy of the whole mesh after you've created UVs. Um, so that way it inherits the same position maps on those UVs, and thus damage will render correctly. So now, colliders are thankfully pretty easy to do. You're just breaking your model up into convex pieces. What that means is that as you walk around the outside of a model, you never walk uphill. Um, there's really easy ways to check it. What is and is not convex, which I will show off a little bit later in this guide. Uh, I will note you can have holes in your collider pieces, you just cannot have a flat plane. If it's a flat plane, it breaks the game. I don't know why. It's just part of the modding requirements. So we're going to just split our thing up real quick. You don't need to be super accurate. If you've got like a meter, uh, the smaller the hole, the more accurate you'll want to be, of course, because that way you don't get visual issues where it looks like a shell is or is not hitting when it isn't, or it looks like it's just exploding in midair. Uh, what level of accuracy you want to go for is up to you. Typically, I find as long as I'm within a meter, it doesn't matter. The visual effects will cover up any inaccuracy I have. So I just try and make sure I'm within a meter and of error and call it a day. So we're going to break things up a little bit more. Uh, I want to make sure I'm not grabbing more than is wanted, because that will cause some weirdness with how the collider behaves. So this is a section, and this is where we're actually going to demonstrate how to check what your collider will look like when you make it convex. Because, for example, I have this little concave section here with this notch in the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything, hit F3, convex hole. So this is what my collider would look like, what my collider piece would look like. It's a little bit different, but again, for me, it's close enough that I'm happy with it. So I'm going to undo that because you need to make sure to not save it that way, because that will break your UVs if you apply convex hole and don't get rid of it. So now, yeah, that's our piece. I'm happy with how that will behave as a collider. We're gonna go back to our main piece and finish separating off some things. Uh, let's see. We're gonna do these drives, I think, next. Each of these drives needs to be done in a couple of pieces, which is gonna make them a little bit tricky to select, but we'll pull it off. Not too any issues. So we're just going to make sure we're not grabbing anything extra that we don't want. What looking at it, I may just need to live with this inaccuracy in my colliders, because as I'm looking at it a little bit more, there's not a really nice way to grab this without splitting the model, which can mess with UVs. So we're just going to grab the entire thing and then deselect everything we don't want included in this piece. Grab all that. Alright, that is our piece. Put that away. We're going to do the same on the other side. Real quick. Just cleaning up our selection a bit. Not hard, but really important to do. Select those. Alright. And then lastly, this guy, I'm going to split this bit off. And then the rest should be fine. As one piece. Alright, so, and now, lastly, once we have all our collider pieces created, we're going to want to double check we didn't accidentally inherit more than we wanted. So we're going to load each piece individually and make sure none of them picked up extra tries anywhere by highlighting them. That one's good to go. And once we're confident everything's highlighted and set up correctly, we're going to do our export. That will mark us as ready for Unity. So I'll cover that in just a sec. Yeah, those engine pieces are going to be a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. Alright, looks like all our colliders are good to go. So we're going to save our Blender file. We're going to export an FBX again. For me, I like to call this export U1. For Unity 1 in case I have to re-export another full Unity copy later. I'm going to turn off selected. Actually, I need to make sure that is turned on real quick. All the main parts are turned on, which is important because otherwise those wouldn't be there. So we're going to export everything, make sure we have the correct name, and there we go. That's all that really is needed to do colliders, is just separate out into smaller pieces that are all convex. And you can use F3 convex hull to check what needs to happen with a given piece.